David Frum, welcome to Campaign Chronicles.
Hey, John.
It's good to be with you. It's good to have you in New York on set. Today, the one-year anniversary of the killing of bin Laden. And not surprisingly, it has been turned into a political football with the Obama team running ads.
He had to decide. And that's what you hire a president to do.
Somewhat reminiscent of things that Bush ran in the past.
I've held the children of the fallen who are told their dad or mom is a hero, but would rather just have their mom or dad.
And the Romney camp pushing back with my former boss and someone you advised, Rudy Giuliani, basically saying that this claiming credit demeans the process. Where do you think this stands?
Look, I think presidents wear the foreign policy failures of their administrations, so presidents get the credit for foreign policy successes. Had the raid ended badly, that would have been Obama's problem, so this has to be a success. And he did take a tough call, which is the decision to use SEALs rather than drones. Here's the point that I think the critics of the president should be making. His other big foreign policy decision, which was to increase dramatically the investment in Afghanistan. How's that doing? Let's talk about that.
So one of the points you've been making is you're never going to win the argument that the killing of bin Laden didn't happen on Obama's watch, but instead pull back and ask questions like, is there an Obama doctrine? A question that even his supporters can't seem to answer.
Yeah. Well, President Obama marched the troops into Iraq, marched them out again. He's marched them out of Iraq. He had a commitment to Libya. We'll see how that goes. It's been a very activist administration, but where are the results?
And certain questions of consistency. Clearly, this president is a believer in military humanitarian intervention, sort of on the Bosnian model. But why Libya, not Syria? That becomes a question. And also, though, I do think that President Obama and the administration deserve some credit for ramping up the attack on al-Qaeda, something that they did promise to focus on. And there was a lot of talk about how inevitably that a progressive Democratic president was going to be on defense against terrorism. And yet, at least with respect to al-Qaeda, we have seen this ramping up, mostly drone strikes, but over 270 in the course of this administration, resulting in the killing of over 30 top al-Qaeda leaders. Obviously, that's a win for America. Not just any administration. But how does the Republican Party answer for that, given the concerns they vividly expressed about the prospects of him becoming president?
Well, look, Republicans are calling for forward in all directions, and I think the Republicans may need to refine their foreign policy doctrine somewhat. But here, I think, is something to keep in mind about the price of the Obama policy. Because he is so invested in Afghanistan, he's made himself very dependent on Pakistan. It's difficult to fight war in a landlocked country without access to the ports of its neighbor. We've now busted the Pakistanis sheltering Osama bin Laden. No way did that happen without the connivance of the very highest levels in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. I don't mean the civilian leadership. I'm sure they didn't know anything about it because that information isn't shared with them, but the military and the intelligence people. President Bush said, you're with us or you're with the terrorists. We now know where the Pakistani military is. And yet there is nothing that can be done about this or even said about this because the administration is so beholden to Pakistan for an investment in Afghanistan that I think you can fairly say was undertaken not for strategic reasons, but for campaign reasons back in 2008.
David Frum, Campaign Chronicles.
Thank you.